You know what time it is?
Form factors.
Time.
Hello everyone, welcome to Saminator's Form Factors episode number 3. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how wide barriers are undervalued by the market and why it shouldn't deter you from your punting. So we're going to go to an old trusty Saminator graph. Since I've been tracking my horse racing betting results, sample size of over 100 for all these categories, and this is how they look. So the win strike rates for all these barrier categories, 1 to 3, 4 to 7 and 8 plus, are all similar, within 2% of each other. But there's one that stands out in terms of profit on turnover, and that is barriers 8 plus. 1 to 3 is pretty much zero, and then we're in the negative for 4 to 7. So what does this mean for barriers 8 plus? It means we're consistently getting overs about horses drawn wide gates. So the market probably thinks that horses drawn out wide need to go back a length or two than what they normally would to find a position, or work overtime for a length or two to get into a more forward position in run. This is obviously done to try and overcome the dreaded 3 wide no cover position. So overall, what I've just been saying, the win strike rate is pretty much equal, but the payout odds are generally bigger for horses drawn 8 plus. We're generally getting a bigger price because they've drawn a bit wide. So when should you be confident about taking a bet for a horse from a wide barrier that you like? Well, it's going to contradict what the first episode was about a little bit, and that is generally wide barriers don't necessarily matter in staying races. Now, first of all, if you want to have a bet in a staying race, wide barriers shouldn't deter you, because generally the best horse comes to the fore due to the distance of the race, and especially jumps races, the barriers pretty much are irrelevant. So relating to what I was saying before about the market sort of underestimating horses with wide barriers, maybe because they need to go out of their comfort zones to find a position, well, I'd be willing to back horses and focus in on backing horses from wide barriers that are either an out-and-out leader and can control the tempo, that's their usual racing pattern, or settle off midfield to back if it's their usual racing pattern. So I know backing horses off midfield hasn't necessarily been a force for good in the past because, it might be an on-pace bias track or something, but if a horse is out of their comfort zone, it's never really a good thing. You've heard the saying a lot of a horse being ridden upside down, which is against their usual pattern. And obviously, if a horse tries to kick up a bit, that usually settles back and try and get a spot on speed, could get trapped 3 wide no cover. So a horse that's either an out-and-out leader or settles off midfield from a wide barrier generally is when you attack. Or usually in my 10 years of following horse racing, that's when the wide barrier horses are in their wheelhouse. A lot of you will already know this as well, but it's generally better to back horses from wide barriers on wet tracks, because usually the inside is not the place to be, and because the inside gets chopped up a lot on a wet track, usually horses with the wider barriers are in the best part of the track, and that's where you want to be, so that's when wide barriers usually come to the fore. I've found that generally horses peaking in their campaign, say second or third up, are suited by wide barriers, and they usually have a good win strike rate and profit on turnover overall. So in terms of stage of prep, when to back a horse from a wide barrier, I think that's when you got to do it. And typically horses drawn wide that are met with good market support, it can indicate a bit of a stronger signal for their winning chances, because the market is usually a little bit easy on horses that draw wide. So if a horse is met with good market support, drawing wide, it's usually a good sign. To finish off this Form Factors episode, I would like to present to you the Saminator formula of when to bet from a wide barrier. If all these stars align with a wide barrier of 8 plus, have a bet. Here we go. So the first one is track condition. If it's a soft or worst, it comes into play. The second one is in-run position. If a horse is an out-and-out leader or settles off midfield, suited to its normal racing pattern, that star is also aligned. Preparation. If a horse is second or third up, all 3 stars have now aligned. And to finish it off, if there's a dabble of market support for it, that means all 4 stars have aligned, and Saminator's formula says that you should have a bet. So hopefully you learned something today, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye for now.